Well, hello YouTube. Welcome to the Bison Aquarium. We have just started this channel and I've got 3 videos up on the building of the fish tank stand, and we're just getting started with this channel, so bear with me guys. I haven't got a logo made up yet. I haven't got anything, a starter video, beginning, intro and outro done yet. I'm still working on it. I want my son to help me with this, so he's got a YouTube channel also. I've got another channel called the Bison Workshop, and that one I do machine work and stuff like that. And you might see a little bit of that in some of my videos. Let me turn some light on here, the subject. And I want to use this channel basically just to document my fish tank build, setting up my fish tank. I've got a 55 gallon that I'm working on, and I'll try to give a rundown of all that I've done so far, and then we'll just go from there. I just got finished painting the hood and set it up on there, and we're just going to go over the fish and how they became part of the tank. And I think I've got their names nailed down. I'm not totally sure I want to keep those in the order they are, but I'm going to run that by you guys and see what you think of them. I've got 2 temporary fish in there, and they're going to go away. You can believe that. They're goldfish, and I do not like goldfish in my tank because they're just nasty, dirty fish. But for starting the tank, they are a great fish for starting a fish tank. I got a test kit that should be here tomorrow, and I'm going to do my first test, and we're going to go over that test tomorrow if I get the test kit. It's near me, so it should be here tomorrow. So what we've done, I've added, the first 2 fish that got added was the goldfish. I've got 2 goldfish in there, and they are actually bigger. Let me flip you here a little bit. They're underneath that rock right there, and I like having hiding places for my fish, and he's sitting there looking right at us. Let me see. I don't like knocking on my tank, but yeah, they're not going to come out. I've got 2 goldfish. Now, they started out their lives in a rain barrel, and the reason I got them was simply to eat the mosquito larvae that was taking up residence in my rain barrel, and they did a very fine job of that. And then I decided to go ahead and get me a fish tank. I've had fish tanks, but I haven't had one in like 5 years because I just moved to North Carolina, and I just hadn't set one up yet. Ended up having to get rid of my old 55 gallon tank, which I'll show you a picture of right now. And basically I'm just starting from scratch right now. I got the fish tank for 20 bucks, and it didn't have no light, no hood, no nothing, just bare bone tank, just tank by itself. I went outside and found all the rocks. I went to Walmart and got the pea gravel for 3 bucks. So now I've got 23 bucks in it. The rocks were free. They were laying out in my yard around my tree. And I brought them in, washed them, and brushed them with a stiff bristle brush to get down in the cracks and crevices because I didn't want to put no contaminants in my tank. There was a lot of green growing on those rocks, so I kind of figured that, and I may be wrong, but my way of thinking was that is algae. So if I did miss a little bit, it wasn't going to hurt my tank, that it should help my tank. Then we had some black gravel that we had bought for a fish bowl about 2 years ago, and we tried, my ex-girlfriend wanted to do goldfish, so she didn't do a very good job with them. The fish died and the water turned green, and she just didn't take care of them. So we ended up washing it, or getting rid of the gravel that was in the bowl, and we had 1.5 bags left. So I just kind of sprinkled along the bottom, and then the leaves are fake. I don't never put live plants in my tanks. And look, my Oscar. I've got the 2 goldfish, I've got the Oscar, and see, he's looking at me. He sees the flashing light. He don't like the flashing light. I also have a young Pleco in there, and he's always disappearing. He is a Houdini. I have a hard time finding him, but when he gets bigger, you're not going to have a hard time finding him. He's just probably about that big. So we're starting off fresh. We've got 4 fish in there. Now I've come to the conclusion that I want to name the 2 goldfish. I don't know if I want to name them yet, because like I said, they're temporary. See, there's one of them. Oh, and I got a daggone one of them curlicues that come off my tree laying in there. I'm going to have to get that out of there. And I was kicking it around about naming them, but if I'm going to get rid of them, I don't know if I want to give them a name. Now, the Oscar, it's a Tiger Oscar, and he's going to be beautiful. I had a big old Oscar one time that started off the same size as this one, and I had him for years. And something happened that I had to go away from the house, and it was cold, and my house was heated with wood heat, and I didn't have a fire in the house, and he froze to death. I felt so bad for him, but believe it or not, the Pleco lived through that. He was froze too, so I'm wondering if maybe I just was a little too hasty with the Oscar and threw him out. We called him Frying Pan, and don't ask me why. A buddy of mine just said, man, he's putting a goldfish in that tank's like throwing it in the frying pan, and that's what we just started calling him, was Frying Pan. So I think we're going to call him Jake, simply because I like the song Feed Jake. So when I go to feed Jake, I can say I'm going to feed Jake. So we're going to name the Oscar Jake, and I believe we're going to name the Pleco Charlie. So we're going to have Jake and Charlie. If I was going to name the 2 goldfish, I may end up putting them back out in the rain barrel. I don't know. It hasn't rained yet, and the barrel's empty. But anyway, I'm getting off track. The way that I started this tank is I filled it about halfway. Well, it was actually a little less. You can see the line where I'd stopped, and then I'd added more, and it went to there. But then when I got to that point from tap water, and I don't like tap water, usually I have about 10 or 15 jugs of water that sets for over 24 hours, usually longer, and that helps the tank. It helps to get the chlorine out of it when you leave it set. Now that's just what I've been understanding. Look, he's showing off. Jake showing off. He likes the camera. Man, he's pretty. You can tell when they're happy because they got that white stripe going down the middle of them and on top of their head. And he's going to be a pretty one. And then I went and took the rest and filled it with the rainwater that was in the barrel. Simply because it had already been, the goldfish had been sitting in it for a long time. A couple weeks, and well, actually it was a month, and they had already got the tank set up. So I just took the water out of the rain barrel and put it in there. Now, yes, it was cloudy and nasty and green, but then once I started my filter, which is a Whisper 60 filter, power filter, which I'm not real sure I like. It's aggravating to get it to run correct without making a whole lot of noise. So I'm not real sure that the Whisper 60 is going to be the one that I'm going to use from now on. But it is one that I'm going to use temporary. Hopefully I can get it set up right. I'm also using, and I'm going to put you guys somewhere here so I can kind of go over some of this stuff with you. What I'm using for a heater is a H2000, 200, and I haven't really got it set up yet. I'm still working with it. I'm waiting for my digital thermometer to come, and as soon as my digital thermometer comes, I'll have a better accurate reading. This sticker that's on the front of this is, the stickiness has come off of it and it's just barely hanging there, so it's not really very accurate. So I'm going to wait until I get my thermometer, my digital thermometer, and get it set up with that one. I do have it plugged up, but I've got it set really low so that there's no chance of it heating up. According to this, we're at about 70, between 72 and 74, and like I said, I don't believe that. They seem to be happy, and I usually can tell just by sticking my finger in it if it's good or not. This is the filter that I'm using. It's a Tetra Whisper Power Filter 60. It's for 30 to 60 gallon aquarium, and it does 330 gallons per hour. So this is the pump that I'm using, or the filter, and right now I'm just feeding them goldfish flakes, and that's what I've always fed them. Now once the Oscar gets bigger, then we're going to start feeding it the Rosy Reds, and may even go with mealworms eventually. But finances is a little low right now, so I got to be careful with my pocket. We are going to put some bubbles in here. We're going to put bubbles under the rock so that the bubbles hit the rock in the middle and just kind of float up around the rocks and then come up. And we're going to put one on this side, and we're going to put one on this side. I'm still waiting for my pump and my gang valve so I can run 2 air lines. So I did buy a pump from Walmart for like 10 bucks and got it home. It said it was for a 60 gallon tank, which this is a 55, and actually it might have been for a 75. It didn't blow no air. brand spanking new, so I ended up having to take it back, and I'm not having very good luck. I keep getting bad equipment, and it's making this build, this fish tank build, a little monotonous. So I got my bio balls, and what I've done with the bio balls is I've put a few in the filter right behind the filter cartridge, and then I noticed I have one floating around in there. Two of them. Got one right there and one right here just floating around, but they're not really doing any good. I really don't understand the bio balls. It just looks like a plastic ball. So if anybody can explain to me what that bio ball is all about, unless inside of it it's got charcoal or something, but bio to me means charcoal. I think that pretty much covers this. I'm uploading a video right now, and this is going to be number 4. So I'm uploading a video right now showing the hood that I made, and like I just showed you, I just painted it black, and I'm thinking I'm gonna put corners on it to hide the edges where the wood comes together, you know, where two of them come together. So we're probably just going to put some nice brass or some kind of corner on it, on each corner. But they seem to be very happy. I've never really had bad luck with fish tanks. I've always had a fish thumb, so to speak. And I almost hate to get rid of the goldfish, but they were bullying my Oscar last night, and we're not going to have that. I guess they think because they're bigger than my Oscar that they can just bully him around, chasing him around the tank and stuff. And believe me, if they knew that Oscar is more important to me than them goldfish, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. They'd be nice. But everybody's got to play nice in here. You watch. See? Well, I don't know if I scared him or the goldfish scared him. I do like the fact that the goldfish, as you can see, he's down there cleaning the tank and getting all the food out of the gravel. I may keep them in there just for that reason. Once the Oscar gets bigger, he's not in no danger of being bullied around. In fact, he'll be the bully. So I may leave him in there. I don't know yet. It just depends on how things go and how they act towards each other. He's going to get big, and when he does, of course, the goldfish are going to get big too, so they're kind of going to grow up about the same size towards each other. The Oscar may outgrow him a little bit, but not enough that the goldfish are going to be in danger of being eaten because they're going to be too big to eat. Now, he might kill them, but I don't think they're in danger of being eaten. I was kind of hoping to see my Placo to show you guys, but I can't find him nowhere, and he's probably hidden underneath one of these rocks. Let me see if I can get an eye on him, and maybe we can show you what he looks like. Let me move this fan. Yeah, I don't see him nowhere. He's a Houdini. I want to add some more rocks. I don't want to get too crazy with the rocks for the simple reason I don't want a lot of weight on the bottom of that tank. I have actually had more rocks than that in my 55 gallons tanks, but I just don't want to push the boundaries. Let's see if I can find him. Oh, there he is. He's way back there in the corner. Yeah, there he is. Let me see if I can get a close-up of him. He's kind of hard to see, and I was standing there staring right at him and didn't even see him. But if you look back here right underneath that hose, he's hanging there with his tail towards the right side of the tank and touching the gravel. So he's right between the gravel and the hose. And then you got the Oscar right there. We want to get a little bit of color in the tank, and a little more color. I want to get some more hiding places. Simply because when I start putting rosies in there, I want it to be like they're in the actual natural habitat where the rosies have a fighting chance. I want to see him stalk them. So if I give the rosies a little extra places to hide, then that gives them a fighting chance, and he has to work for his food. That keeps him exercised and hones his hunting abilities. So, you know, that's the goal for this fish tank. And once I move to another location where I'm not in a trailer, I'm probably going to expand my fish tanks and get a little bigger. Maybe I want to get a 100-gallon tank. Then I'll move these guys in the 100-gallon tank and then use this one for something else. But that's way down the road, long time down the road. But right now we're just going to focus on this tank and get it set up and everything working perfect. I've used under gravel filters. I've used pretty much all kinds of filters. Now I've got this pump right here that I was thinking about using for a different kind of filtering system, but I think it's just too small. I may never use this, I don't know. But this here is one that's submersible, or submersible, can't even speak. And you got the filter inside there, if I can get it off. Yep, yeah it is. You got a biofilter in there, I guess that's what that is. And that's your inlet. And this would be your outlet, I guess. So, getting tangled up in my mic. I'm working with a GoPro Hero 2, and I have to use an external mic because the internal mic on this thing's worthless as a tit on a boar hog. But that's pretty much the roundup, the summary, or however you want to put it, for Bison's Aquarium. So we're going to do a pan here and show you what we got. And goldfish love to hide down in that hole. So anyway, I guess this would be my introduction, my so-called introduction video. Sorry about the bed out. I've been sleeping in my living room. It's fun to be in here because I get to watch them at night before I go to sleep. So I hope you guys enjoy my channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Tell me what you think of my system and what I've got going on here. And if you got any pointers that I might have missed on, let me know. Anyway, you guys have a good one, and thank you for watching. Later.